Okay, this video is about solving linear equations, and we're going to look at the balance method. And the first type of equation we're going to look at is one-step equations. Now I call them one-step equations because they basically require one step in order to solve them. And the balance method is all about keeping the equation balanced. So let's have a look at an example and I can show you what I mean. Okay. Good idea if I got my pen up. Okay, let's look at an example and you can see what I mean. So if we were asked to solve 7x equals 21, then what we need to do is find the value of x. Remember, that's what solve means. We're finding the value of the letter within the equation. Remember what 7x means? 7x means 7 times x. So 7 times something equals 21. Now you can probably just tell me the answer, that x equals 3, because 7 times 3 is 21. But how do we show it using the balance method? Well, basically our aim is to get this line every time. X equals something. Now how we turn 7x into x, we need to get rid of the 7. When I say get rid of, in this case we actually transform it into a 1, because instead of 7x I want to know what 1x is. Remember, we don't write the 1 in front of our letters in algebra, we just write the letter. So how can I turn 7 into 1? Well, what you're allowed to do here is divide by 7. And if you think about it, 7 divided by 7 is 1. And if I do it this side, I must do it this side as well. So this is the left hand side of the equation, this is the right hand side, and the equals is the middle. So by doing it on both sides, that is where the balance comes in. It's all to do with keeping the equation balanced. So whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do the other side of the equation. And 7 divided by 7 is 1x, which is what we want, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. So there's our answer, which we knew. We can illustrate this as well. Let's have a look at another sort of basic example, another one-step equation. What if I had x plus 8 equals 10? Now this is a very basic equation again. Something plus 8 equals 10, and you can probably tell me just by looking at it, we call that solving by inspection, just by inspecting it. X is obviously 2. How do we show it with the balance method? Well, this time, if I want to get x equals, if I want to get x on its own, I need to get rid of my plus 8. How do I get rid of plus 8? Well, I minus 8. Plus 8 minus 8 is nothing. So I am actually getting rid of this time. This one over here, I didn't get rid of the 7, I transformed it into 1. But whatever we're trying to do when we're solving an equation, we're trying to get down to 1x equals, or just x equals. So coming back to this, if I take away 8 on this side of the equation, on the left hand side, that's the middle, then I need to take away 8 on the right hand side as well to keep the equation balanced. And 10 take away 8 is 2, which is what we knew. We knew that x equals 2. And I can show you this on a weigh-in scales, on a very basic weigh-in scale. Okay, so this is where the word balance comes from. So this is not a very good drawing. I'm going to pop the equals in between so you can see the equation. So when we start off with x plus 8 on that side, and on this side we have 10. So because they're equal, they would be balanced. And if I want to know the weight, in inverted commas, you know, it's not really the weight, but you can think of it like this, then I need to take away that 8 from that side of the weighing scale. So if I take that 8 out from that side, then to keep it balanced, I take 8 from that side. And then that is when we get our situation whereby when we take 8 from there, we're left with x, and we take 8 out of there and we're left with 2. And we can see that the weight of x is 2 in my weigh-in scale illustration. Okay, so this is where the term balance method comes from. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must do to the other to keep it balanced. Okay, otherwise you'll end up changing the equation and it becomes a different question, basically, and a different equation to solve. Let's look at another example over here, another one-step example. So again, let me remind you, these are one-step equations because it took me one step to get the answer, one step to get the answer. I just have to do one thing. So let's look at another one. What about x divided by 5 equals 10? So something divided by 5 equals 10. How do I turn x divided by 5 into x? Well, basically, we need to get rid of, or transform, divide by 5. To do that, we do the opposite to dividing by 5, is multiplying by 5. If I do it that side, I do it that side. This will give me x, and this, of course, will give me 50. And you may have noticed that already just by looking at it like you did up there. 50 divided by 5 is 10. And one more example. Now I'm going to recap on them all. What if I had x minus 7 equals 12? Something take away 7 equals 12. That's what the equation says. I want to get rid of the minus 7. To get rid of minus 7, I add 7, because basically I want to turn it into 0. And going down the page, x stays there, that becomes 0. There's my equals. I must add 7 on that side to keep it balanced. 12 plus 7 is 19. Okay, so there's 4 very basic equations there. One involving a multiplication to start off with, and to get rid of times 7, we divided by 7. I want to see if you notice something here. To get rid of plus 8, we subtracted 8. To get rid of divided by 5, we multiplied by 5. And to get rid of minus 7, we added 7. So basically, when we are trying to get rid of these numbers so that we're left with x, so this, in this case, that's the coefficient of x. In this case, it's a number on its own. When we're trying to get rid of these, we do the opposite to what is happening with that number and x. So because 7 is being multiplied by x, to get rid of it, we divide it by 7. But really, like I said earlier, we're not getting rid of it. We're transforming 7 divided by 7 into 1x. But over here and here, we are getting rid of them because we're making them equal to 0. Because plus 8 minus 8 is 0. And minus 7 plus 7 is 0. This side, though, if you think about it, it's just the opposite of what was going on up there. We had divide by 5 first instead of multiplying, and then when we times by 5, it's going to get rid of that divide by 5. It's going to become 1. Okay, and 10 times 5 is 50, obviously. So that's a very short video on just looking at solving one-step equations. Okay, the next video we'll be looking at two-step equations and obviously recapping on these one-step equations. So that's it for now. Thank you very much.